Welcome to the Blount County Workshop Meeting for Thursday, January the 8th, 2026. Commissioners, please register your presence while we play the emergency evacuation procedure.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you've reached the main floor, follow the exit signs and exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and emergency vehicles.
Madam Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Mr. Chairman, there are 15 members present, 6 members are absent.
Thank you. I will declare we have a quorum. Commissioners Davis, Bennett, and Webb let me know they have a conflict and will be unable to attend tonight's meeting. With that, I'll stand for a motion to set the agenda. A motion from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner Anderson. Is there any discussion? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes.
Mr. Chairman, there are 15 yes votes.
Thank you. The agenda is set. Up next, I have public input for items on the agenda, and I have 2 cards here from Brian Cox and Ray Pickens. Do you wish to speak to items that are on the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Please come forward and state your name and your district, please.
My name is Brian
Just to remind you,
Cox.
you've got 3 minutes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you got 3 minutes.
That's all right. My name is Brian Cox, and I am in District 8. I wanted to speak to this commission tonight on a couple of issues based on both fact and opinion. I am speaking on item number 4 on the agenda concerning the possibility of toxins in the Townsend area. I researched the history. It's available starting with littleriverrailroad.org. It gives the history of the tannery that used to be there, and it also cites in that information the need for tan bark. I am not familiar with that, so I had to look that information up as well. And what I found out was that tan bark is primarily the tannin-rich bark that they used in the process of curing the leather. The key components included hemlock bark, tan oak bark, and different other barks in that area. So it was made by shredding the bark into round pieces. The tannins were extracted. Now, the next question I researched is tan bark harmful to humans? In general, overall, it says no, but there are exceptions to that. As I mentioned earlier, one of the barks that could be used in that is hemlock. And as some of you may or not know, hemlock is extremely poisonous. Mulch, if it was stored in large, deep, wet piles, decompresses and can produce toxic compound like wood, alcohol, ammonia, and hydrogen sulfide. So without knowing the specific way that the bark was treated at the tannery, and I couldn't find any historical records speaking to that, but this does leave the possibility that there are contaminants in the area. And so that does need to be inspected before the possibility of progress on the dam continues. Now, in the opinion fact, I would like to state that I think the dam should remain. In fact, it should be nurtured as one of the economic benefits of Blount County. It is historical, and if we were to create, or if this commission or Maryville provided the discounts or whatever tax breaks they gave the third Walmart, which quite honestly is a ludicrous idea, it could preserve history. The best business, in my opinion, in Blount County is Blackberry Farm. because they use the natural community, they use the history, they use the beauty of what we have here in East Tennessee. And I think that's what we need to look at the dam. If it could be turned into...
Excuse me, sir, your time has expired.
If we could turn it into a grist mill, it could be a great tourist attraction. If
Your time has expired, sir. Mr. Ray Pickens.
My name is Ray Pickens. My hearing is pretty bad, so I'm going to try to go on quickly here. I'm trying to address the resolution 26-01-0112 prepared by Commissioners Bauer and Jopling. It concerns the Perry Mill Dam destruction. I hate to use that word, but that's basically what it is. I understand the problems involved with the dam, that it has caused drownings. This is a design issue that could be remedied. Number two, I'd like to preserve that dam since it's an historical structure and it has aesthetics to it from the waterfall, which a lot of people enjoy. It has recreational facilities, which people have enjoyed for years, over 100 years, fishing, swimming. One of the other problems that the dam has, that by removing that dam, you're going to get rid of all the back impounded water, which is approximately about 14 acres of water. That impounded water could be used for firefighting in that valley, should it be necessary. The proposal that I have is minimal construction, and it certainly won't cost $14 million. These graphics are rudimentary. I haven't had a chance to study it as much as I would like to, but basically the condition, this is the plan. You're all familiar with it, so I'm sure you know what it looks like. This is the problem. You have a dam with recirculating water at the base, which is natural for a dam like this. A solution to solve this, rather than removing the entire dam, we can put a spillway made of large boulders at the end of on the toe of the dam, which creates a continuous spillway all along the dam. I'm sure you can't see the pictures from where you are, but let me quickly just bring them out. Here's a picture of the existing dam. And this is what it would look like with this continuous spillway, which is made of rock. What it does basically is it creates...
Excuse me, sir.
When it goes over the top...
Excuse me, sir. Your time has expired. Your time's expired.
Time's up?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak to items on the agenda? Come ahead, sir. Please state your name and district, please, and I'll remind you have 3 minutes.
My name is Tom Talley. I live in Wallen, and I want to speak in regard to the resolution to oppose the dam because of the pollutants that are potentially in the sediment above the dam. But let me tell you straight off, I spent 30 years with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service reviewing environmental impact statements, water resource development projects such as what the Corps of Engineers is proposing now. And I find that the proposal that the Corps has is terribly lacking in detail. I would encourage this commission not to necessarily oppose this project, but to call for the Corps of Engineers to write a full-blown environmental impact statement, which according to the Daily Times, they have issued a FONSI, which is a finding of no significant impact. Therefore, they're going to go right ahead with the project without looking at all of the impacts that this project may have. And among some of the issues is, of course, the pollution issue, and it doesn't just relate to the tannery, but back in the 1920s, there was a facility called Patent Button Company in Townsend, straight across the road from the place I was born and raised, and they made plastic buttons. And I know that there had to have been a lot of plastic discharge into the river from that facility. It was there for 20 or 30 years. In addition, we have the issue of public use of the river. And it's an issue that bothers me tremendously because the more we propagate commercial use of the river, the more we open it up to tubers and canoers and so forth, the more it precludes the local people from being able to use it because people are coming in to make money. I often wonder, what is this commission going to do in regards to regulating this eventually? I see my time is about up here, so I do have a couple of 3 other issues that I think need to be brought up
Thank you,
in an
sir.
environmental impact
Thank you.
statement. Thank you very much.
Does anyone else wish to speak to an item on the agenda? All right, moving on. I'll stand for a motion to approve the minutes. I have a motion from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Caldwell. Is there any discussion on the minutes? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes.
Okay. Commissioner Bowers, how do you wish to vote? And then we'll get IT to take a look at, okay. Mr. Chairman, there are 15 yes votes.
Thank you. With that, the minutes will be moved forward to the full commission. Up next, we have the general consent calendar. I have a motion from Commissioner McMahon, second from Commissioner Giles. Is there any discussion on the consent calendar? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes.
Commissioner Bowers? Mr. Chairman, there are 15 yes votes.
Thank you. The consent calendar will be moved forward to the full commission. We do not have a budget consent calendar this month, nor any unfinished business. Moving on to new business. Madam Clerk, will you please read the first call?
Board member appointment for the Smoky Mountain Tourism Development Authority. The Smoky Mountain Tourism Development Authority requests the appointment of 2 candidates to fill 2 open seats. Each one is a 6-year term on the Board of Directors. Stephen Duker, Vice President and General Manager, Cirrus Vision Center. Hamilton Martinez, General Manager, Hilton Knoxville Airport. Jewel Overton, Director of Support Services and Radiation Effects, Pronova Solutions. Brian Cable, former General Manager, Hilton Knoxville Airport. The above-mentioned candidates are ranked in order of preference, but you may either, 1, accept the recommended ranking as is, 2, reorder the above-mentioned candidates, or 3, select recommended candidates.
I have a motion from Commissioner Giles, second from Commissioner French. And I have Commissioner Giles up first.
I would recommend that we accept the recommended ranking as is.
Righty, thank you. Anyone else? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes.
Mr. Chairman, there are 15 yes votes.
Thank you. We will forward those appointments on to the full commission.
Budget Committee, one-year term, confirmation of mayoral appointments of Commissioners Jared Anderson, Nick Bright, and Mike Kaler, and Ms. Sharon Hannum.
Have a motion from Commissioner French, second from Commissioner Giles. Is there any discussion? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes.
Mr. Chairman, there are 13 yes votes and 2 abstentions.
Thank you. Those appointments will be moved forward to the full commission.
Jail Inspection Committee, one-year term, reappointments of Mr. Keith Brock, Ms. Sharon Hannum, and Dr. Bob Ramsey.
Have a motion from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner McMahon. Is there any discussion? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes.
Mr. Chairman, there are 15 yes votes.
Thank you. Those appointments will be moved forward to the full commission.
Resolution number 261012, a resolution of the Blount County Commission opposing the removal of Perry's Mill Dam.
Have a motion from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner Joplin. Have Commissioner Giles up first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, a lot of discussion tonight on this particular resolution, and for the record, we voted on a very similar resolution of this a little bit over 2 years ago, and I was in support of not removing the dam. That's still my position as of today, but I do want to share some information with some folks, as I've already spoken with the sponsors of this resolution, that I found out from about a 45-minute conversation with 3 members of the Army Corps of Engineers representatives in Nashville, Tennessee today. I want to commence by saying that they were very helpful, very professional, and to be quite candid with you, gave me some information that I was surprised that they were willing to share with me. And that's my intent today, is to share some information with the rest of the commission that you might or might not know. First of all, when I ask for the business case, what is your business case for taking this out? We spent a lot of time talking about the restoration of the ecosystems between the Rockford Dam and the Townsend Dam, and I won't get into the details there, but I will share that with you if you'd like at some time in the future. The second thing had to do with the safety issues and the deaths that have occurred at this particular facility. Quite candidly, my opinion is that's probably the driving force behind this, is the fatalities that we've had at that particular location. Anyways, we got into the conversation. I heard cost discussed this evening, and I asked about cost. There's a $14 or $15 million cost associated with this project, and they said initially that was for the removal of the Rockford Dam and the Perry's Mill Dam. But if you take the Perry's Mill Dam out of that, it's about a $5 to $6 million expenditure to the best of their abilities. Then I asked for a time frame, and asked in this resolution we talked about asking the Army Corps of Engineers to cease and desist essentially with any type of demolition activities. There are no demolition activities taking place and can't be taking place until they jump through a series of hoops, if you will. That's my verbiage, not theirs. At this point in time, the funding has been approved, but they have not acquired any of the funds or determined where the funding is coming from for this particular project. Once the funds have been acquired, in other words, they have it in their account, it'll take another 12 to 24 months before they're able to do all of their scientific studies to release whether or not they want to completely taken out Perry's Mill. At that point, then they will do planning and engineering behind it. So in other words, it's going to be several years of their work, intergovernmental work, before they're even able to touch the first stone or do the first thing there according to them, which precipitated me to ask the question. I said, do you know who owns the dam? I was surprised to hear that has not been determined at this point. And this came from an Army Corps of Engineer representative. And as a result of that, so I said, so what are the ramifications of that? And I was essentially told, until we determine who the owner of that weir, the dam, the property is, we can't do anything with it. So they're still trying to determine who actually owns the dam, which I found was very interesting. As I said, it's probably built, 1800s, didn't have deeds for that particular type of property back then and so forth. So they said it's not unusual to run into a situation like this, but as of today, they do not know who owns that property. I had a follow-up question about who owns the parking lot and the adjacent properties. TVA owns the property, and they are leasing it to TWRA. That's why if you ever drive through there and you see TWRA officers there, that's one of the reasons. Anyway, they have a 330-page proposal on this thing. I have not read it. They sent it to me, a link to it today. They are still in the exploratory stages as to whether or not they can even have it removed. And I could go through this on and on and on, but essentially I asked him, I said, so as a local official, government official, do I have any jurisdiction, any say-so, as to whether or not this dam is removed? And I was told, no disrespect intended, but this is a federal issue. It's a federal activity, and although they want to stay very closely tied with local and state government officials and the public, that once a decision is made, we lawfully don't have any recourse to do anything with this. So I'm not stating whether or not I'm still for it or against it. In all honesty, we own property not far from this place on a little river, or we did. But I did want to share that information because oftentimes my experience has been if I don't have the information, sometimes I make up my own stories. And I don't want that to happen. I want us to make a decision based on education and facts. And I know that you gentlemen have done your due process around this and will continue to do so, but I thought I'd share a little bit with the rest of the group this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Commissioner Giles and all that he said. I kind of know the same things. You know, we started hearing about this in 2023, and that's when we brought our first resolution opposing the dam. So, you know, here lately and within the last month, we've signed TDEC and TWRA has signed an agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers to continue on. So, you know, I felt like we needed to bring another resolution to express our county's feelings and our people of District 8's feelings. I know, like Commissioner Giles said, the federal government says we're going to tear it down. There's not a whole lot we can do about it. So, but I still think on a local level, we need to let our voices be heard, let our federal government know how we're feeling about it. And we've heard from 3 of my constituents out there tonight wanting to keep it, not just for possible contamination, but also just the historic value of it. You tear something down that's 170 years old, I just don't think it's a good thing. I'll be supporting this, and I would welcome anybody to jump on there with us if you want to. I'm open to striking something out or adding something to it. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Joplin.
Yeah, I just, as one of the sponsors of this resolution, I wanted to mention, for the record, this resolution does nothing. If we pass this resolution, it means nothing. The federal government can do whatever they want to do. So, to me personally, being from Townsend, representing Townsend, I think that they don't even know who owns this. This is obviously a historical landmark built in the 1840s. I think it should be left alone. I wanted to support this with Brad as a sponsor of this resolution because, you know, being from District 8 in the Townsend area, we're very used to the government taking things away from us. We're used to them. They took away Laurel Valley Lake. We had a national park that used to be free, and now they make us pay to park in the national park. The federal government's going to do what they want to do. they don't care what we say, but at least we're trying. So we hope that everybody will support this with us.
Thank you. Commissioner Carver?
It would be interesting if we could ask the engineers to meet with the citizens that spoke tonight about their concerns, because that was amazing,
Yeah.
what they said on, ways to preserve that dam. Would that be an option?
I mean,
I'm
it's
just
possible.
kind of curious, Mr. Giles. Or can I direct it to Mr. Giles?
Mr. Giles?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can't and will not speak for the folks that I spoke to on the phone today. I do have their names. They have since reached out to me, even since the meeting this morning, and they're saying we're willing to help any way that we can, help educate and so forth. So I think that's a very valid point. I would be very happy to contact Ms. McCormick tomorrow to see if she'd be willing to do that, to share, again, just some of the misperceptions or misunderstandings as to what's going on here. So I think that's a great point, and I will reach out to her in the morning. To your point, Commissioner, you're exactly right. We don't have any recourse, but I will say from my conversation with them today, and they know this, just like we do, they didn't act that way at all. It was like, we want to do what we can to help. So I didn't get that flavor like, we're going to do what we want to do. So I appreciate your perspective on that. Thank you.
And
Mr. French?
one more time?
Oh,
So
no,
would,
excuse me. You still got the floor.
since
Mr.
it spoke tonight, would you be willing to speak to the engineers in regards to your plans? I think that would be the thing that we need to do, is someone who actually knows a solution, and preserving it would be wonderful. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a request?
Let me get French first. He was there, and let Commissioner French first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As stated earlier, they don't need to pay attention to us. But they do hear what we say. But you also have a voice with your federal representatives. You can call them and make them known what your wishes are. And I'd urge you to do that. But it's a vote. You're a voter. You're a voting public for them. So you call their office and make them aware of what your thoughts are. A lot of times they will listen to you. I just wanted to make you folks aware that any of you people out there and the ones that aren't here, if they'll call their senators and their U.S. representatives, make your wishes known.
Mr. Giles?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Joplin or Commissioner Bowers, if you will get with that gentleman and get his contact information at the end of this meeting, I'll just reach out to one of you after I speak with this individual tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes.
Mr. Chairman, there are 15 yes votes.
Thank you. Resolution 26-1012 will be moved forward to the full commission.
Resolution number 26-1013, a resolution of Blount County Commission forwarding revisions to the proposed comprehensive plan.
I have a motion from Commissioner Caldwell. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner Carver. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Wells.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I've read through all of the red lines and edits that have been submitted to us to adopt a revised version, and I like all of it. I think I'm in agreement with almost all of it, except for what is listed on page 8, the very first item under conservation. Actually, it's the second item. It's C1.2. It reads, with an edit. Here's the original, then I'll read the edit. But the original said, encourage developers to utilize cluster development to provide open space and avoid disturbance in environmentally sensitive areas. The edit says, encourage developers to utilize conservation development to provide open space and avoid disturbance in environmental sensitive areas. I would like to make a motion to amend C1.2 to just simply state, encourage developers to utilize development models to provide open space and avoid disturbance. The reason being is cluster and conservation developments are two different animals, two very different types of developments. Cluster development's obviously a higher density type of development. A conservation development is a much broader type of development so rather than have to agree or disagree with cluster or conservation, I think we just want to encourage the developers to use the development models that provide open space. So I just want to generalize this just a little bit more than just trying to, rather than get into the nitty gritty of is this a cluster or is this a conservation development, just strip both of those out of there. So that's my motion, is to amend it, just removing the conservation word. And I put model because you need another word to make it make sense. So I say encourage developers to utilize development models to provide open space, ...
So we have a motion. Do we have a second? Second from Commissioner Reagan. Is there any discussion on the amendment? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes on the amendment.
Mr. Chairman, there are 14 yes votes and 1 no vote.
That amendment passes. We will now vote on, yep, we're still on discussion. We're back on the main motion now, and I have Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Commissioner, for that revision. I think that strengthens the proposal. I just wanted to share a few remarks on this before we vote on forwarding it, since next week I'll be chairing the meeting and won't have the opportunity. But I wanted to just acknowledge, the steering committee, the planning commission, and the planning department for their work that went into this plan. These adjustments are just adjustments. There's not any kind of reflection on the good work that they did. There's a lot of good content in this plan, and these are just a few things that will strengthen the comprehensive plan going forward. Just to summarize, for those that are here or watching, the proposal that we've put forward tonight has some suggestions regarding how we're going to deal with traffic congestion in the future in this county, how we're going to deal with traffic safety on a long-term basis, and how we're going to deal with our infrastructure. And then it also addresses some proposals that I think are inappropriate for county roads, those being bike lanes and rural roads, complete streets, and maintaining vacant land for affordable housing. Not that those aren't worthy goals, those are definitely worthy goals in the appropriate places. And I don't think that the areas covered by our county zoning ordinance are the appropriate place for that. So I'd encourage you to support this. There may be some amendments that come up between now and next week, and there may be some amendments when the Planning Commission considers this, and I'm open to all of those, and I hope we're all open to all the suggestions that will make this a stronger plan for our county's future. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioners, ready for the question? So please register your votes.
Mr. Chairman, there are 15 yes votes.
Thank you. Resolution 26-1013 will be moved forward to the full commission.
Resolution number 26-1014, a resolution to provide liability insurance for the 5th Judicial District Drug and Violent Crimes Task Force vehicles.
Have a motion from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner McMahon. Is there any discussion? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes.
Chairman, there are 15 yes votes.
Thank you. Resolution 261014 will be moved forward to the full commission.
Resolution number 261015, a resolution to amend Section 7.20C of the zoning regulations specific to the open space requirement of cluster developments.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner Reagan. Is there any discussion? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes.
Mr. Chairman, there are 10 yes votes and 5 no votes.
Thank you. That resolution has failed to move forward.
Item 8, setting a date and time for zoning public hearing to amend the zoning map of Blount County, Tennessee from R1, Rural District 1, to RAC, Rural Arterial Commercial District, for a 4.615 acre portion of a 7.263 acre tract located at 5220 and 5226 U.S. Highway 411 South. The property is identified as part of Tax Map 100, parcels 9 and 9.01.
I have a motion from Commissioner Anderson. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner Caldwell. Is there any discussion? If not, Commissioners, please register your votes.
Mr. Chairman, there are 15 yes votes.
Thank you. The scheduling of that zoning public hearing will be moved forward to the full commission. Up next, announcements and statements. The Beer Board will meet next Thursday, January the 15th at 5:45 p.m., followed by the Board of Commissioners meeting in regular session at 6 p.m. All in Commission Meeting Room 430 at the Blount County Courthouse. Commissioners, remember to file your statement of closure interest reports with the Tennessee Ethics Commission. Those of you serving on the Planning Commission must file an additional report. Does anyone else have a statement or announcement they'd like to make? All right, moving on to public input to items not on the agenda. Does anyone wish to speak to an item that's not on the agenda? All right, seeing no one, I'll stand for a motion to adjourn. Thank you.